And we're live. Okay. Everything should be all good. Folks, just give me 1 second. Let me make sure everything is all good. Just give me 1 second here. Let me make sure my audio is good. I'm not hearing myself.
Let me make sure my audio is good.
Okay. All right, we're coming through live. So audio is good.
I'm not hearing myself. Let me make sure my audio is good.
All right, coming through live. All right, folks. We know what has happened this past week, right? We know that in this last week, we've had a whole lot's been happening, right? We've had what happened in Minnesota with Renee Good. And of course, there's war going on, protests going on in Iran. But we're not going to cover that. We're just going to give a recap of what happened this week with Renee Good. All right. And, you know, sometimes we have to be a bit cautious in how we introduce or how we react to information that's out. Because a lot of people reacted, and the information that was being pushed out, everybody was just jumping on board. Everybody wanted everybody wanted to be the first to get the information out. And oftentimes that's not a good idea. Sometimes we should just sit back, wait for a moment and see what happens. What's when the ball drops, what is going to be the next? So what I decided to do was just wait until the end of the week today to have a recap. Just do a recap to hear the different opinions, the different commentaries, and hear who has to say anything before I gave my feedback. So what I did, I spent the last few days just gathering information, going through it, looking for duplicates, getting rid of the duplicates, and trying my best to just kind of like compile information, right? And in doing so, I found information Thursday, I found information on Friday. I've even had a dispute with a buddy of mine because what came out was that the ICE officer was struck with the vehicle, and disputes back and forth, and I kind of had to eat my words. Like when I looked at the video again, I'm like, are they really saying that he was hit? Was he really hit? And my thoughts are kind of like, yes, he was, no, he wasn't. But as I looked at the video again, I realized that maybe the story's been spun. So let me pull up the first video that I have, and this video will show moments before the interaction between Renee Good and the ICE officer. So let me jump into that. I think this is it. All right, so let me play this video. So as you can see, the interaction, the ICE officers are walking around, right? Like I say, this is moments before, different video angles. right. So here's where they're getting out now to confront her. All right. So this is where they confronted her. Right? Let's just go back just for a second. Right? So as you can see, the ICE officer, they're going to go down. I'm just backing it up for a second. And no, let me bring it back a little bit more. So she's parked in the road right here. As you can see, she's parked in the road right here. And now they're going to approach her. Right? There's the ICE officer with the camera. The one right here with the camera. He's going around the vehicle to position himself. Right? So let's... All right. So the ICE officer is having a conversation with Renee's wife, right? While he has his camera, his phone out recording, right? While he's going around. All right, let's continue. And I'll bring up the close-up so you can see the close-up, all right? So let's continue. Now he's going around, right? And Renee's wife is having a confrontation with him, right? So there you can see she's antagonizing him, right? They're getting agitated. So they're getting agitated now, and this is where it developed into a more serious situation. So let's continue. All right. So you heard the shooting, right? All right. So now I'm going to bring up a bigger view of the other angle where most people have already seen, right? And how they're addressing and how the officer is redressing her, and it's going back and forth. So they're redressing each other. So let me pull up that. All right. So give me a second. All right. So now you can see the bigger picture. All right, so this is going to be the bigger picture now, right? This is what most people have already seen, right? And this is a bit antagonizing. Just let me preface this for a second. There was a vehicle. Of course, she was telling people to go around her, right? But she was blocking the road. She was blocking the roadway, and there was a vehicle that was stuck in the road. That I double checked and assessed to make sure I'm accurate when I'm going to give the information, right? There was another vehicle that was stuck in the road, and that's what they were going to actually assist with when she is in the road, right? Now they're antagonized, they're upset because this is why they upset, and this is how the actual shooting occur. All right, let me press this. This is the actual vocal discussion, brief discussion that Renee made to the officer. All right? Let's continue. She's not mad. They're not mad that the officer's asking them to move, but they're not really doing it, I guess, as promptly as the officers wanted. Let's continue.
It's okay, we don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Okay, so egos of heighten here, because as you can see, she is dealing with a man with a man presentation. Look at her body language, right? Just pay attention. Let me back it up for a second and pay attention to her body language, right? This is how fighting body language actually happens. Look at her body language. Pay close attention. She's going to tell him, "You want to come at us? I suggest you go get lunch first, guys." Because basically she's saying, "I can handle you, right? I'm better than you." So take that into consideration. Look at how she looked down on the ground and raised her head. That stance of a man wanting to fight another man. However, the obvious is that she's a woman, right? So now she's agitated them. So now there are two people here. Her, Renee's wife, and Renee. Both are agitators now. So now this is where things are going to get heightened, and this is how the shooting transpire to where the vehicle is being moved off, and even though it appears to seem one way, it can be another way. Your thoughts? Let's continue.
Out of the car. Get out of the
Pay
car.
close attention.
Later.
Let me back it up for a second.
That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car.
You see?
Fucking car. Get out of the car.
Now she's saying, "Drive, baby, drive." Right? They're trying to get her out of the vehicle. And she doesn't want to get out. They're agitated. "Drive, baby, drive." And that's where that was the final straw for what happened with the police officers. Let's continue. And there it goes. She was shot and crashed. Right? I do believe I have another video angle, right, in slow motion, but I'm not going to play that. I think by now you guys have been bombarded with so much of this content already. I just kind of like wanted to give an overview, right? People are upset. They're saying that the ICE officers were wrong, and other people are saying it's a justified shooting, it's a justified kill. Okay, those opinions are either here or there. People have their thoughts, their opinion. This is a campaign that's happening with ICE agents. Over 2,000 ICE agents are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And people are noticeably angry, right? So I've always said, and I have a police officer friend of mine, a best friend of mine, that says at some point somebody is going to be hurt, somebody is going to be killed, right? And this happened, and it didn't have to happen. Basically, she put herself in a situation where it didn't have to happen. And what happened. But let's continue. So let me jump into the next video. All right. So there's anti-ICE protests happening, right? And people are gathering. They have visuals in memory of her, right? And so the protests and the gatherings are happening in different places across the country. So let me pull up this one, all right? This one is in Nashville, Tennessee, right? And this happened on the 9th, right? January 9th, right? And this was posted by Nashville, by the Nashville Lookout at 5:01 a.m. on January 9th. As you can see, this visual have scores of people, hundreds, maybe thousands of people, right? But as you can see, what the signs are saying, Rest in power, Renee. Right? Executed by ICE. No mass stormtroopers. Right? And I just scroll down on this a bit slowly so you guys can stop and read it. You guys can pause and read it. Right? People are sad. As you can see, I'm not necessarily going to read it. Right? Let me see if I can make it a bit bigger. A bit bigger. Right? So you guys can actually read it. Right? So they're having visuals, prayers in memory of her. Right? So State Representative Justin Pearson, also a Memphis Democrat, called Good's death horrifying, tragic, and a direct consequence of the authoritarianism policy of the Trump administration. Right? So, right? So that's the article. So let me pull up a video now, right, of what's going on. I believe this protest is going on in Washington, D.C., right? So let me pull this one up. So here is a video.
The district, a busy intersection in Northwest D.C., is shut down because of an anti-ICE protest.
This comes in the wake of the deadly shooting in Minneapolis, where an ICE agent shot and killed a woman. News 4's Joseph Olmo is live at 14th and U Street Northwest tonight with more. Joseph, what's going on?
Hey guys, well, I can tell you Minneapolis is over 1,000 miles away from Washington, D.C., but that isn't stopping the people here of our nation's capital from getting out and protesting after what pretty much we all saw yesterday. There are well over 100 people out here on 14th and U Street, so you can see they're standing in the middle of this busy intersection, right in the middle of the busy U Street corridor. There's a long line of police out here as well to kind of block off the streets to let the protesters, spread the message that they want to spread. People are holding up signs here like "Stop ICE Terror Now." Right now they are chanting "Free, Free Palestine." It's a busy scene here after that video went viral yesterday, guys, showing Nicole Good, a U.S. citizen, getting shot by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. And so this is the scene now. This is the second night in a row that we have seen protests in D.C. as a result of that shooting. Everything is peaceful here. It's loud. There's a lot of chanting, but Metropolitan Police, D.C. Police Department, they're allowing the protesters to do their thing, to spread their message. We've not seen any clashes, and interestingly, no National Guard here, no other police agency, just D.C. Police. We will keep you guys updated, but in the meantime, 14th Street, U corridor, 14th and U, completely closed off right now. We're standing in the middle of the street as people protest.
All right, Joseph Olmo live for us tonight with the latest. Joseph, thank you. We'll update that story throughout the night here on News 4.
Okay, so let me pause this. All right, so as you can see, guys, they are really upset. They're really upset, and the protest is just happening all across the board. All right, let me go over so you can see. I'm going to play a video, right, regarding, so for those of you may or may not know, Kristen Noem, she's the DHS secretary, right, Director of Homeland Security, Kristen Noem, and she's taking questions in regards to the shooting, and here's what she has to say. All right, so let me bring that up Sorry
I mean,
about
in
that, guys.
contrast to
That
what
was
happened.
very, not very much not undercover.
Because of the
darkness.
protesters and the violent
Well, so
criminals
my
that were
question for you
attacking our
is,
law
you
enforcement.
had
If you
said-
remember in that
May
operation,
I-
what happened was our officers were out trying to get a car stuck out of the snow when they were surrounded and assaulted and blocked in by protesters that were inciting.
The officer was following his training.
He did follow his
wondering,
training
does
because of an
firing two
individual
shots
that was-
point blank into a driver's window. Is that part of the training? How is that self-defense?
This is an experienced officer who followed his training, and we will continue to let the investigation unfold into the individual and continue to follow the procedures and policies that happen in these use of force cases. But let's remember the events that surrounded what happened yesterday on that tragic situation was that these individuals had followed our officers all day, had harassed them, had blocked them in. They were impeding our law enforcement operations, which is against the law. And when they demanded and commanded her to get out of her vehicle several times, she did not. So we'll continue to allow this process to unfold and recognize that these law enforcement officers every single day put their lives on the line. They go out and do their jobs. They go out and...
Terrorist, though, without an
This was an act of
investigation.
domestic terrorism,
There
which
had
is
been no
perpetuating...
investigation into who she was or what she was about, and yet now you're saying
These
you can't
policies
speak
and
about the incident
procedures that
because of the
follow a
investigation.
use of force situation like this are continuing to be put in place. So this is standard operating procedure after every use of force situation is that we follow these procedures and protocols. This situation is no different. Back there. Nope, this young lady right beside you. I'll come to you next.
Thank you so much. Should we expect a surge of agents in New York City, and if so, when?
I would say that President Trump and his administration are focused on protecting people. So we will never telegraph exactly the numbers and operations that we have and where we will be focused on. But I think that when you see violent criminals that are taking advantage of American citizens and putting their lives in jeopardy, our law enforcement officers at DHS will always show up. Yes. I'll come back. I'll come back. Go ahead.
Secretary, the officer involved in the shooting yesterday, has he been suspended or is he still in the field?
The officer went to the hospital. He was hit by the vehicle, went to hospital and received treatment, was released and is spending time with his family now. Yes, sir?
Yes. In Minneapolis yesterday, you said the surge there would continue. While you didn't directly say whether we can expect an ICE surge for civil deportation enforcement, can you explain what a surge is and
I won't describe in detail our law enforcement operations that we have. It's just puts our officers' lives in jeopardy, but they will be there enforcing the laws of this country and upholding the public safety needs that have to happen when it comes to enforcing federal law.
Just Homeland Security investigations.
You know, we've got thousands of officers there, and I'm not opposed to sending more if necessary to keep people safe.
Secretary, no. Secretary, no.
Back up here.
Secretary, can you talk a little bit about the experience of the officer and some of his background? How much training did he have? How much training in these types of situations did he have, even if he's from the region?
Yeah,
You
I'm not going to
mentioned a
get
little bit of-
specific to this officer, but he's an experienced officer that has served a number of years, and we recognize that he acted according to his training, and we have expected all the policies and procedures of review will be exactly that he acted appropriately to protect his life and the life of his colleagues and fellow law enforcement officers that were there and people that were surrounding.
Yes. I'd like to get your reaction on some of the rhetoric here in New York City. Mayor Zohran Mamdani responded to the shooting yesterday, saying that this is only the latest horror in a year full of cruelty. He called it an attack on us all, and that New York stands with immigrants today and every day. Also, council members last night at the protest called this fascism. The New York City's public advocate, Jumaane Williams, said that your administration is, quote, doing the devil's work, and he asked New York City to stand up and show up, quote, it's going to be difficult and there are going to be casualties. And the last comment that was made last night at the protest was from New York State Representative Alex Boros, also a Democrat. Quote, not only was the ICE agent's hand on the gun, but Secretary Noem's hand was on the gun. President Trump's hand was on the gun. What is your response to New York Democratic leaders, those particular comments, and the protesters that are outside?
I would say those comments are why we're standing where we are today. That kind of language and that kind of provocative talk, inciting people to take action and perpetuate violence in some cases is unacceptable, and especially of elected leaders. We have a responsibility to state the facts, to go out and enforce the law. Your mayor just said in that statement that he was going to stand with illegal people who have broken our law before he's going to put New York City citizens first. His job and why he was elected was to protect the people who live here, that had the opportunity to vote for him and have the opportunity to live in this city. They pay their taxes, they go to work every day, and instead the mayor in that statement chose to stand with illegals instead of those individuals who just want the chance to raise their families in New York City and have a part of the American dream. Yes.
Minutes ago, the head of Minnesota State Investigations Agency said that they had been cut out of the investigation into the fatal shooting in Minneapolis. Can you explain that reversal?
I'd like to know where they've been and why they're not out on the streets investigating all of these people that are harassing and inciting violence on law enforcement officers right now. They're allowing the situation to be volatile. They're not doing their work. They haven't for years, and maybe they should get to work a little bit on the unprecedented fraud that we've seen in Minnesota and in Minneapolis by people that stole from American citizens and diverted funds away from vulnerable people and programs and services that they needed and put it into their own pockets. Minnesota is a train wreck. It is corrupt, and it was under the leadership of Governor Walz and this mayor that they allowed it to happen, and they let criminals and illegals and people abuse programs and steal the money, and now they're allowing violence to go forward on the streets as well.
This also applies to the Minneapolis Police Department, county sheriffs, the federal.
So, guys, as you can see, she's giving a response to what has happened to Renee Good, right? And in that, she's making sure that the media understands that she stands with the ICE officers, right? I said I was not going to pull up a slow-mo video of the ICE officer and the shooting, but I think it warrants pulling up that video, right? So let me drop that video in. Give me a second. Let me open a new window and drop it in. All right, so here is that video. I believe this is it. No, let me come down here. Let me come down here. No, let me come down here. No. I'm trying to find. I think this is it. Yes. So let me expand this video right here. All right. So let me bring it from the beginning. Pause it. All right. So this is a slow-mo of the accident, right? Remember, this is, let me show you this. Let me show you this first and just give you kind of like a recap. So this is where, how, this is what happened, right? This is the antagonization, right? Right? They're approaching the vehicle. They go around the vehicle, going around the vehicle at speed, right? They have a verbal exchange. She spoke, right?
We don't change our plates every morning.
Her wife now
It'll be the same plate when you come
is
talk to us
speaking.
later. That's fine. U.S. citizens.
Right? So,
you want to come at us? I say go
so
get yourself some
our
lunch.
wife is speaking,
Go ahead.
and now she says, "Drive, baby, drive," and the shooting happened. Now, the slow-mo to that, right, is, here's a slow-mo to that. The officer's pulling on the door. Okay, the other officer is pulling his gun. Boom. All right, so it appears that it might have been that she tapped him with the vehicle. So let's go back. Let's go back. So the officer is trying to yank her out of the vehicle. She pulls off when her wife says, "Drive, baby, drive." The officer pulls out his gun in 1, 2, 3 seconds, right? And the bullet is not fired yet. The officer hand is in the door handle. And you can see it obviously kind of dragged them on the ice. And all the officers fire. It kind of appeared that he was tapped by the vehicle. I'm trying to look at it, right? It appears that he might have been tapped. Because look at his foot, even though the wheel was turned away from him. Looked like it was going... Yeah, it was going away from him. Right? So let's look at that. Slowly. I'm pausing it while we go. Boom. It appears that he might have been hit by the van. Not hit to where he's seriously damaged where he can't walk. And when I had a conversation with my friend, I said, "Have you ever been in a car accident?" He said, "Yes." I said, and then you didn't feel the pain the same day, but the next day you felt the pain? And he said he felt the pain right away. And I'm like, for me, my body's jolt up and I won't feel the pain because adrenaline is rushing through my body. But the next day when I wake up, I am sore all over, knees hurting, whole body's hurting. So you can be tapped by a vehicle, jerked by a vehicle, right? And be injured based on the aggressive or fast-paced movement of your body being pulled or pushed by another vehicle. So that might have been what happened. Their body was pushed and pulled when the officer pulled the gun out and fired. I don't know which one of the two officers. Kristen Nome said the officers were hit and went to the hospital and got checked out and is now home with his family. Right? So it could be that he was slightly struck, but others have a different opinion. Your thoughts, leave them in a comment. Let's continue. Let's go back to what Kristen Nome is saying. Right? Let's continue.
I won't put a blanket statement out like those other individuals will. What I would say is I welcome them to come and help us. Come help us make sure that the streets are safe, that laws are enforced, and that we can do the right thing to make sure that American citizens come first. Yes, sir. They have not been cut out. They don't have any jurisdiction in this investigation. Yes, go ahead.
Could you give us some more
I'm going to speak to this individual right here.
Thank you, Secretary.
Yes.
Jay Dow from WPIX TV. How do you respond to Americans who have been listening to your comments that this was an act of domestic terrorism, that the officer was hit
Anytime
by a
you
vehicle,
take
and say
something-
that it is in direct contradiction to what they are seeing and watching in the multiple angles that have been released in
What
the
I
last
would-
24 hours?
This vehicle was used to hit this officer. It was used as a weapon, and the officer feels as though his life was in jeopardy. It was used to perpetuate a violent act that this officer took action to protect himself and to protect his fellow law enforcement officers. So we'll let this continue to go forward and follow the same policies and procedures that every use of force situation does. But we've had almost over 100 times that these vehicles have been used to ram law enforcement officers and to do damage and to harm them. When you take an action and use a weapon to harm someone and to incite violence against them and try to cause them injury or death, then it needs to be labeled exactly what it was.
Do you believe the use of force in this instance was commensurate with the actions of that vehicle and the driver?
I would say that when these individuals use their vehicles to try to ram our law enforcement and to put their lives in jeopardy, that law enforcement officer has to make a decision to protect his life and the individuals around him as well. Yes.
What did you make of Tom Homan's comments yesterday that we should wait for an investigation before determining, as you have, that in this incident it was self-defense and that he felt that his life was in danger?
You know, I didn't see those comments, but from what I understand, he also put out a statement later as well. So I'll let Tom speak to that, but all of us are on the same page in the fact that this law enforcement officer followed his training and that he defended and acted in defense of his life and those around him.
Now, a lot of people are going to have opinions over the next several weeks. We don't know how much this may change the direction or the trajectory of how ICE operates, but it has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and it's been rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. But other people are happy with what's going on, right? We just have to see what plays out. This shooting incident has the nation in a frenzy, an uproar, angry, right? Everybody is having their emotions and experiencing and expressing their emotions. Let's continue.
Yes.
ABC7 New York. Two quick questions. First, you said these protesters had been following the ICE agents. Do you have a little bit more of a timeline, and can you share with us some of those other initial encounters prior to the fatal shooting? And then secondly, can you speak to the closure of the ICE office at Rikers by Mayor Mamdani?
There will be more details coming out as this goes forward in the coming days, and I'll talk more about that closure in the future. Yep.
So can you say if there was how many times that they had been threatened, like how many other times they?
It had been ongoing throughout the day. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Whatever happened in Minneapolis, a mother of three is dead, an American citizen. Do you have a message for her family today?
Yes, absolutely. And I reiterated this yesterday when I had my press conference in Minneapolis.
Yes, guys, it is so sad. It is so sad that she died, leaving her three children, right? It is sad. You know, religion and politics have gotten people in so much of a frenzy. In religion, there's so many different denominations, so many different religious groups and factions that has caused people to fight and have wars over land, beliefs, spaces, just a whole lot. Politics, it's so polarizing that we have the left and the right, and it's just has caused so much anarchy, controversy, and unrest in society for decades, and I don't think it will ever stop at any time soon. We as people just have been so conditioned to swing left and swing right, and the chaos that is caused where families like brothers and sisters, wives and husband, divorced brothers and sisters stop talking because of politics, because of religion. And this has caused her to lose her life, leaving three children. Sad. Let's continue.
I asked everybody not to just pray for the officer, but also pray for the deceased family and her loved ones as well. It was a tragic situation that I hope we never see happen again. That's why I'm encouraging all elected leaders to work together so that we can be cooperative in getting dangerous criminals off of our streets.
You go in with a lot of publicity about these operations. Do you feel like that needs to be revisited so that maybe you go in a little more covertly, or do you need to change the approach at all?
I would say that we have all different kinds of law enforcement operations.
Do me a favor, guys. Please like the video, share the video, and get more people watching, right? Help it to get in the algorithm so YouTube and Rumble and all the other platforms that we broadcast on will push the content, all right? And leave your comments in the comment section. Your thoughts are important. I'll read them, all right? Let's continue.
Operations ongoing with the department at all times. We don't telegraph what they are, the details or specifics, or where we're going to be operating. I would say that there's different tactics utilized for what's appropriate for the situation and the criminal activity we see in the city. Last question?
Do you know the details of Renee Good's harassment of ICE officers early in the day? Were any of those details shared with you? Because apparently it wasn't just that one incident, it was earlier in the day as well.
Yes, it was, and that will be a part of some of the details that we will be sharing in the future. Thank you. Thank you all for being here, and I...
Okay, guys. So as you can see, right? As you can see that it has caused a lot as happened due to the fact that they were already antagonized. They already felt antagonized by these two individuals earlier on in the day. So as you can see, there seems to be a little bit more to the story, and the shooting happened because even when I was listening to the video after the shooting happened, I heard one of the ICE officers say, "Effing bitch," right? And that was recorded, and for those of you that listen, heard it, they were already antagonized. They were already angry about this, right? So just understand that it has made them feel very uncomfortable, and it made what happened happen. All right, let me get the other video queued. And so, all right, so this is a news article as to show what's going on in terms of the protest and the gathering in memory of her. All right, let me get that video playing. Give me a second.
Learn more about the woman who lost her life yesterday. Reg Chapman joins us live from the memorial for Renee Good. Reg, I imagine that memorial just growing out there.
It really is, Aaron. Portland Avenue from East 33rd Street down to East 36th Street is blocked off as the memorial for Renee Good continues to grow. Now, many people here tell me they did not know her. Renee, her partner, and their young child and family dog were new to the community. The family has asked people who knew Renee not to speak about her until they have the chance to gather their thoughts so they can speak about their loved one. Now, Renee and her family used to live in the Waldo neighborhood in Kansas City. Neighbors there said they were a loving family, often seen taking walks in the neighborhood. Joan Rose was shaken when she learned the images she was seeing on the news about a woman being shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minneapolis was once her neighbor. She thought they moved out of country, but now has learned her move for a better life turned tragic.
I heard they were moving to Canada because of the politics here. I didn't think it would hit this hard, this close to home.
Now, Renee was a graduate of Old Dominion University. The university's president said in a statement, "It is with great sadness that Old Dominion University mourns the loss of one of our own, Renee Macklin Good, a proud monarch who graduated in December of 2020 from the College of Arts and Letters with a degree in English. Following Renee's tragic killing in Minneapolis, our thoughts and prayers are with her family, friends, loved ones, and the Monarch Nation." And Aaron, we hope to learn more about Renee when her family decides to speak.
Yeah, and we look forward to that. Okay, thank you, Reg.
Okay, so guys, as you can see, that there's a lot going on.
Of our own
okay,
government.
let me bring this video in.
Hands of ICE. My kids' favorite park became a staging ground for masked agents to kidnap my neighbors who are black and brown. I've gotten late night texts from people trying to find answers for family members uncertain where their loved ones are even being held. 2 days ago at this very Target store, federal agents assaulted and abducted 2 workers going about their shift. Ignoring the one of them who was proclaiming that he is a U.S. citizen and had his passport in his pocket. Today we are here as the Richfield community and surrounding community to say enough is enough.
All right, so I'm going to
ICE.
Guys, I'm going to bring in a different video, right? And this video is what's going on in California. So this is another protest that's going on in California. So let me play this one.
The shooting in Minnesota has led to demonstrations here in L.A.
Today, people protested in downtown L.A., and that's where we find Eyewitness News reporter Tim Pulliam, who continues our coverage. Tim.
David, Giovanna, it was a peaceful protest. The group prayed. They laid down flowers in tribute of the Minnesota mom shot and killed by that ICE agent. This group is demanding justice. In Spanish, they chanted, "It can be done." Interfaith leaders gathered downtown outside the federal building expressing outrage.
Say her name, Renee Nicole Good.
This week, Renee Good was shot by an ICE officer during an immigration operation in Minneapolis. The 37-year-old mother and Minnesota resident died from the encounter.
We're all at risk. We should all be worried. No!
The video is shocking. We're freezing it before Good was shot. Perspectives vary on what the encounter shows and who's to blame.
A citizen who is driving away from an incident to not be shot in the face is not radical.
We are experiencing fascism by an administration who is at war with its own citizens.
But Homeland Security is calling Good's actions domestic terrorism, claiming the...
See, that's what Kristi Noem was saying, that it's an act of domestic terrorism. Because apparently, based on what has been said in the news cycle, is that the two individuals, the couple, have been antagonizing ICE agents for hours. All right? So they were kind of terrorizing them. But the people are also saying that ICE is terrorizing the people. All right, let's continue.
The agent acted in self-defense when Good was allegedly trying to run over the officer.
They're trying to spin a story. There's videotape that proves what they're saying is wrong.
Protesters in Minneapolis and here in downtown LA want a transparent investigation.
We're seeing unchecked, no accountability by the federal government, and their lack of accountability for taking a human life is so egregious.
And during this protest, the group also acknowledged the death of Keith Porter. You may remember New Year's Eve night, he was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent at an apartment complex in Northridge. The LAPD is investigating that case. In downtown LA, Tim Pulliam, ABC 7 Eyewitness.
Okay, so as you can see, guys, as you can see, it has just caused a lot of unrest. I wish it could stop, but it is not going to. All right, let's hear what the vice president has to say. All right, let me cue this one up. All right, so J.D. Vance has weighed in with his thoughts. Let's play the video. It's less than 2 minutes.
The White House is standing by a federal ICE agent who shot and killed a woman during an immigration operation in Minneapolis Wednesday.
This was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order.
Vice President J.D. Vance told reporters the agent acted in self-defense.
That woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job.
Federal immigration officials say the agent shot a 37-year-old woman after she tried to run over agents with her car. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the situation was life-threatening.
And these individuals use their vehicles to try to ram our law enforcement.
Noem also called for attacks against ICE agents to be investigated as acts of domestic terrorism, claiming a sharp rise in incidents involving vehicles.
We've had almost...
Guys, I played this already, right? Just understand that this has got a lot of people upset. Renee Good, death by ICE, right? This is actually just the way I made the thumbnail. It is actually a double entendre. on Tanje, right? It's snow, it's cold, it's icy, and death by ice was actually a play on the fact that it's snow, it's icy, and the agents are called ice agents, right? Guys, it is sad. Someone lost their lives, leaving 3 children, because said person got overzealous and agitating, and the agents just got upset, just got to the point. All right, guys. I think that's it for me on this one. Right? Remember, it is important to be careful out there. Think before you do things, because it may be your last day, right? Your actions might cause you to be unalived. So you want to be careful out there, right? Don't let your emotions control your convictions, because when your emotion control your convictions, it is now in the driving seat, steering the vehicle in a direction that you might not come back from, right? Please be careful. One love and respects, and remember to always question everything, because if you don't, you may fall for anything. Think and say. Have a good day. Wow. Not good. Not good.